Hello everyone. After a long time of not uploading, here I am. Today we are going to talk about the MrsKreekyToon and KyleCraft situation. Documentation, allegations, and contradictions. Today we're going to be talking about a situation involving a YouTuber known as MrsKreekyToon, a creator with approximately 11,000 subscribers and over 7.5 million total views, and a minor named KyleCraft who was 16 years old at the time of the events discussed. This video is being made strictly for documentation and awareness purposes. I do not encourage harassment, cyberbullying, threats, or targeted attacks toward anyone mentioned. Everything discussed here is based on allegations, documented conversations, witness statements, and publicly available information. This video is not a verdict. It is an examination of behavioral patterns and contradictions. How a YouTube issue turned into a minor safety concern. This situation did not begin with allegations involving a minor. It began with concerns surrounding online behavior and content practices, which later escalated into something far more serious. While assisting a friend with unrelated research, information was shared with me regarding KyleCraft, a minor based in Alabama, and his alleged interactions with MrsKreekyToon, an adult based in the Philippines. According to a third party whose identity will remain private, Kyle had allegedly been involved in inappropriate conversations with adults aged 18 or older. Given the seriousness of this claim, it was not treated casually. Instead, a decision was made to address the issue directly. The group chat and initial denial. On December 26, 2025, a group chat was created involving myself, Parrot Tech, KyleCraft. The intent of this conversation was simple: to give Kyle the opportunity to respond directly to the allegations. When asked whether the claims were true, Kyle denied any wrongdoing. At that point, the conversation could have ended. However, instead of remaining straightforward, the discussion quickly shifted into unprompted explanations and preemptive defenses. The unprompted legal discussion. Before anyone accused Kyle or MrsKreekyToon of committing a crime, Kyle sent Google search results regarding age of consent laws, specifically referencing whether a 20-year-old and a 16-year-old could legally date. This was not requested. No one had cited laws. No one had accused anyone of a specific offense. Immediately afterward, MrsKreekyToon stated that she was an adult and began referencing international age of consent laws, including those in the Philippines and the United Kingdom. The issue here is not simply legality. The issue is why legal defenses were prepared and shared before accusations even existed. This raised a critical concern that both parties were already aware that the situation could be perceived as inappropriate. A relationship that changes depending on pressure. As the conversation progressed, the description of the relationship between KyleCraft and MrsKreekyToon changed multiple times. Initially, Kyle described her as just a friend on Discord. Later, when further questions were asked, she was described as his YouTube manager. However, this explanation was contradicted by witness testimony. Multiple individuals from a Roblox game known as The Forge stated that Kyle had openly told people they were dating. These explanations are mutually exclusive. A relationship cannot simultaneously be casual friendship, professional management, and romantic involvement acknowledged to third parties. Each shift appeared to correspond with increased scrutiny, not clarity. The conversation changes direction. Enter the victim narrative. Once these contradictions were highlighted, the tone of the conversation changed dramatically. Rather than clarifying inconsistencies, the discussion shifted toward mental health and personal distress. Kyle shared a pre-made image listing multiple mental health conditions, including ADHD, OCD, depression, and F1. He stated that he was experiencing panic attacks, depression, and suicidal thoughts. This is an important moment to be clear. Mental health struggles are real. They are serious, and they should never be mocked or dismissed. However, context matters. These statements appeared only after contradictions were pointed out. Once they were introduced, all further questioning stopped immediately. Kyle also claimed that his depression was caused by sitting in the dark and never going outside. This statement conflicted with his continued public activity, including uploading YouTube content, actively playing Roblox, interacting with others online. Rather than resolving earlier inconsistencies, the focus shifted entirely toward emotional distress, reframing the situation from one of accountability to one of sympathy. This is what many observers describe as playing the victim card, not because mental health is fake, but because it was introduced precisely when scrutiny became uncomfortable. From defense to denial, it was just a joke. After witnesses were mentioned and contradictions continued to stack up, the narrative shifted yet again. At this point, the claim was made that the entire situation, including the relationship implications, was just a joke, supposedly intended to trick Parrot. This explanation raises serious questions. A joke does not normally require pre-researched age of consent laws, multiple contradictory explanations of a relationship, third-party witnesses confirming dating claims, or mental health documentation appearing only when evidence is presented. This did not resemble a misunderstanding. It resembled retreat. The YouTube connection and pattern consistency. Alongside these allegations, MrsKreekyToon was also being investigated for YouTube-related behavior. She is accused of re-uploading KyleCraft's videos and live streams with little to no transformation. According to Parrot, KyleCraft allegedly contacted her privately in October 2025, asking her to stop copying his content. Despite this, the re-uploads reportedly continued. When confronted, MrsKreekyToon did not directly address the issue. Instead, she claimed she was fixing everything, while the videos allegedly remained public. This mirrors the earlier pattern. Avoid direct answers, promise resolution, delay accountability, observed behavior leading to theories. At this point, it's important to clearly label the following as theories, not accusations. Theory 1. Scripted or pressured responses. Throughout the conversation, Kyle frequently paused before responding, especially during sensitive moments. These pauses raised the possibility that he may have been reading prepared responses, being guided by someone else, or pressured into saying specific things. This would explain the sudden appearance of legal research, prepared mental health graphics, and coordinated narrative shifts. Theory 2. Coordinated control or alt-like behavior. Another notable observation involved timing. On multiple occasions, Kyle would stop responding, and immediately afterward, MrsKreekyToon would respond on the same topic. This raised the theory that Kyle may not have been acting independently, or that MrsKreekyToon was exerting real-time control over the conversation. Some have even speculated about alt-account coordination, though there is no direct proof of that. These theories exist solely because of observable behavior patterns, not confirmed evidence. Final thoughts. Based on documented conversations, witness statements, and public behavior, a minor and an adult maintained a relationship with shifting explanations. Legal defenses appeared before accusations. Mental health claims emerged only after contradictions. Accountability was repeatedly replaced with deflection, and control dynamics appear uneven at best. When emotional shields, legal justifications, and narrative reversals all appear in sequence, it becomes reasonable to question intent. This video does not declare guilt. It documents patterns, and those patterns deserve scrutiny. Anyway, thank you all for waxing this. The evidence of copyright will be in the description below. Peace out, this is Outlaw.